The people were astonished at the words of Jesus because he spoke as one having authority and not as their scribes. And that's definitely what you come away with when you read the Gospels. There's the power in the words of Jesus, the power in the person of Jesus. He knows what he's talking about. He's certain, totally certain of what he's saying. And he's saying, you must do this if you want to get to heaven, and if you don't, you may end up in hell. And his words are so strong and powerful. And then the beauty of the words of Jesus that direct our lives and make us good and holy. You cannot, undeniable holiness, undeniable wisdom, undeniable strength in the person of Jesus. And we will be strong. Everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock, if we follow the teachings of Jesus. And the fool is the one who doesn't listen to the words of Jesus and builds his house on sand, and the rains fell and the floods came. We think of the riots recently in this country and the unrest that is happening, and maybe it will continue, maybe it will get worse, maybe it will get better. But if it gets worse, it is the foolish who will be like the house of sand, who will be crushed, who will be devastated, who will be in despair, who will give in, who will follow the crowd and get gobbled up by them. That always happens to the weak. But the strong will be courageous, heroic. They will speak the truth. They will stand up against evil. They will fight against the evil. They will be strong, and there will be some of them too. I hope it'll be all of us Christians who are supposed to be the leaders. We need to be strong and follow the teachings of Jesus, what he taught. Be like Jesus. He stood against the Pharisees. He stood against those who were doing evil. And he stood up for the poor and the defenseless. He stood up for those who suffered from the oppression of the Pharisees. He stood up against all of that like himself, like Jesus, but like John the Baptist, too, of the old, Jeremiah of the old, who stood up against the wicked. We want to be like that. We want to be strong like Jesus, and it is the grace of Jesus that will allow us to do the teachings of Jesus that will put them into practice. Don't be just Lord, Lord, and expect to enter the kingdom of heaven. Don't just be Lord, Lord, and expect to come unscathed from the juggernaut that may come in our lives, in our world. Only the ones who put into practice the teachings of Jesus, those who are the true Christians, that put into practice the words of Jesus, who practice charity, who are out there, who go out there and try to save souls, to save people, to preach the name of Jesus. We're all called to be other Jesus in the world. We're called to be leaders, called to be proclaim the name of Jesus unswervingly. So we ask for that grace to do that. We ask Our Lady to infuse us with herself, her strength. She who formed Jesus, she who brought Jesus into the world. She who stood by Jesus, in the cross. She who was the valiant woman. She who was led the other apostles to the foot of the cross. She who was the strong woman. We want to be like her. We want her to infuse us with her strength, her grace, and help us to persevere in holiness through everything.